do some Q&A whispering.
Be sure to subscribe to our Patreon.
Be sure to subscribe to our Patreon. Be sure to sign up to our Patreon.
Oh man.
If you had to taste a color, which one would you choose? That's a good question. Here's the thing, I feel like we all assume certain colors would taste like certain things, like blue probably tastes like blueberries, yellow probably tastes like banana or pineapple, like green maybe. Green, like a green apple or like a kiwi. But if we don't associate with fruits and it's just its own thing, I think I would want to try purple. Because what does purple taste like, you know? Would you rather fight one horse-sized hamster or 100 hamster-sized horses? I think I'd rather fight a horse-sized hamster, because 100 hamster-sized horse, that sounds like that's like you're fighting rats, and I hate rats. I wouldn't want to fight a rat, but I'd rather fight a horse-sized hamster because honestly, it freaks me out. I hate rodents and stuff like that. If you had to make a perfume that smelled like a sound, what sound would you pick? Ooh, wow. Like electric guitar. I mean, that'd be sexy. That'd be a good smell right there. Which emoji would you delete from existence forever? Oh, well, let's take a look at some of the emojis here. Let's see which ones I don't like. You know what? That's a good question. You know what? There's one it's an emoji of a thumbprint. Who has ever used that? I've never used that. I didn't know about it till right now. It's like, I take it, to get rid of it. I would never notice. If socks could talk, what do you think yours would say about you? My sock would be like, hey, I'm pregnant. My sock would be like, I'm pregnant. Like you keep. I'm having a kid. We're having babies. Would you rather sneeze glitter or cry confetti? Oh man, dude, I sneeze glitter. Every time you sneeze, just like an explosion of glitter. That would be, and then it's like people, and you know what? People would probably forget to say bless you, and then you can just crash out on them. You're like, how dare you? And then you start crying, and it's confetti. That was dumb. If you could put a warning label on yourself, what would it say? Oh man, that's dude, man. It wouldn't be just a label. It would be like how like when you work at a place, like you get like a pamphlet, and you have to watch a bunch of videos from HR. That's what it would be. It would be like a pamphlet, and then you'd have to watch like 10 series of videos. Like, how'd you get here? What went wrong in life to lead you to Brad? What vegetable has the most chaotic energy in your opinion? Spinach. I mean, look at Popeye was eating that shit and his arms blew up and he beat the shit out of everybody, so probably spinach. If your shadow had its own personality, what would it be like? Oh man, dude, if my shadow had a personality, it'd be like Peter Pan's shadow, where it was like I was trying to get away from him. I'd have to nail it to my feet. He'd probably be against me. He'd probably be anti-Brad, and that'd be okay. Which conspiracy theory would be the funniest if it turned out to be true? That's interesting. Well, now I have to think about conspiracy theories. What's a popular? Well, okay. If you don't know, in Antarctica, people think that there's like a portal that leads to the Hollow Earth, and then So I mean, that would be. I don't know if it'd be funny, but it would definitely be like very interesting. I don't know. You look into Antarctica. There's a lot of weird shit in Antarctica going on. Would you rather be able to teleport but only 10 feet at a time, or fly but only 1 mile an hour? If you could teleport 10 feet at a time, you could just keep constantly teleporting until you need to get ready to go. I think teleportation, because if you were flying at 1 mile an hour, what's the point of flight then? Flight. Everybody wants to fly because it's like, oh my god, like I won't have to use Southwest Airlines ever again. But like, if you're going 1 mile an hour, there's no point. If you could hear everyone's thoughts for 30 seconds. That's stupid. Which everyday object secretly has villain energy? Ooh, man. That's a great question. Villain energy. Wow. I don't know, actually. Would you rather live in a house made of Legos or a house made of marshmallows? The problem with living in a house of marshmallows is that you would eventually, like, just start eating your house, and then you'd be the fattest homeless person on earth. But Legos, like, you know, one wrong, you know, then you have to walk on them, and that would hurt and suck. If you could only communicate in movie quotes, what movie would you pick? Oh man, it'd be really funny if I just used quotes from like Star Wars or something, where like, you know, like someone like cuts me off in traffic, and I'm like, oh man, like I don't even know, like what's a Star Wars quote? Like I don't, but like no, it's Star Trek, because Star Trek is just like nerd science shit. Star Wars like is a little more vague and fun, but Star Trek you could like, someone cuts you off in traffic and it's like, oh, warp onto their ship. I don't know. Honestly, that's so stupid. If time travelers showed up right now, what's the first question you'd ask them? I'd probably just be like, how much worse is it gonna get? And then I would just see what they say. What's a smell that should never be made into a candle? Gwyneth Paltrow, but she still made a candle out of it, didn't it? And I bet it, and here's the thing, I would buy it if I saw that at the store. Like if I go to the store right after this, and I see Gwyneth Paltrow's as a candle, I'm gonna buy that candle and I'm gonna smell it, and then I'm gonna get it pregnant. Would you rather be slightly sticky forever or slightly itchy forever? Probably sticky, because it would suck to be itchy, but when you're sticky, you know, that's like Spider-Man, you know? Imagine you're in a room with one door, one window, and no ceiling. What's the first thing you would do? Okay, so I'm in a room and there's a door, window, but there's no ceiling. I'd probably do a little ASMR, you know what I mean? Like I'd probably do some mouth sound ASMR videos. If you opened your closet and found a portal, where would you hope it leads? I would hope that it would lead to a pocket universe where I could like to visit other dimensions. I think that'd be pretty cool. What would the moon whisper if it could talk at night? It'd probably be like, people did come to me in the 60s, people did land on me, alright, it's real. If every star was actually a light bulb, who do you think is changing them out when they burn? I don't know. Some god electrician in space, maybe. What would rain feel like if it wasn't made out of water? That'd probably hurt. Let's think about that for a second. If rain was made out of like rocks, it'd hurt. You know, it's raining cats, and if it was actually raining cats and dogs, that would hurt. And then like you'd be watching all these cats and dogs turn the balls because they're falling out of the sky at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And then you're like, oh my god. And then you're seeing dead dogs and cats all day. That'd be That's horrible. That's horrible. Imagine that gravity is optional for 1 hour a day. How would people spend that hour? Probably flying around. It depends how fast we could fly, but I would fly to Vegas and like, you know, save the flight, and that'd be cool. If your reflection winked at you on its own, what would you say back? I'd be like, what? I'd probably just, and then I would start questioning everything around me. That'd be scary. If you could taste emotions, which would you want to taste first? I'd want to taste happiness, because I've never experienced that even without tasting it. So if I could just taste it, I could be like, man, how do I get that taste back? And then I try to figure that out. If dreams were a currency, what would be the most expensive type of dream? Probably a dream where I'm happy. I don't know. Probably one of those. I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna, and then I'm gonna go there and then I'm gonna go to Anarcon and overstay my welcome, and I'm just gonna be up all day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.